you're logged on, whether you're a moderator through me.
Yep. And I'm the first one in my own chat.
Who's having surgery today for cancer, and they're putting this Intel chief in charge.
That's right.
He's supposed to be a hardliner who's behind the idea that they can trade.
Well, there's Smiling Mary. I have a phone in my hand so I can see your all comments. I don't have to lean forward. And there's Asymmetrical Preparedness. Hey, brother. Hope things are doing well on your end. Asymmetrical Preparedness has some great videos on putting in garden stuff and also self-defense stuff. And there's Ken Warland, Nittaviller Forge and Woodcraft. Can y'all hear me? I'm trying to talk. Lots of love for you guys, says Asymmetrical Preparedness. Right back at you, brother.
Ken's the one that sent us the present.
Yeah, Ken, thank you for the present. Northwest Arkansas Prepper says, what a blessing. I get back from an MVA and get to see you both.
Yay!
Yay. Hopefully it wasn't too bad of an MVA. You guys are saying sounds good. There's Becca Repurposed. Shalom. Trevor Blackstone. Shalom. Lampkeeper. Shout out to the Lampkeeper as a channel supporter. Hello, Sister Kate and PJ. There is Sophie Akers Homestead. I was just looking at a post of her. She is hatching birds out right and left. She's doing ducks, chickens, turkeys.
Turkeys.
She makes wonderful soap. Says, hope you all are doing well. Well, we're going to talk about that very soon. There's Forest Preparedness. Shalom. Rachel Heighthouse, shalom, and a shout out to Rachel for a channel supporter. And there's Linda Hipple, one of my channel moderators. No ducks yet, she says. Oh, Militant Farmer maybe had baby ducks on his Instagram. Asymmetrical says chickens are on our to-do list. The good thing about hatching your own babies out right now is there are really relatively inexpensive incubators available online that do all the things, that turn them and keep the temperature right.
Whoa, traffic coming to a standstill.
And so I'm going to try hatching some more birds when we get back. I just knew I was going to be very busy these last 2 weeks, and so I took the incubator apart and cleaned it, and I've got it staged and ready for the next setup.
Should have went the other way.
Yeah, Militant Farmer had the ducks. Hey, Grace Akers, shalom, and shout out to Grace Akers for being a channel supporter.
Woo-woo.
Shalom. Turkeys are easier to hatch than chickens, said Sophie Akers, but I understand that the young turkeys are harder to take care of in the first couple of weeks due to temperature issues. Especially their water has to be warm, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, you have to have it warm. Ooh, there's Palmetto Paratrooper. Shalom, fam. Haven't heard from you in a long time, brother. Hope everything's going good for you. Yeah, PJ's not really in the picture because we're in some
crazy traffic, man.
Crazy traffic.
And
so he said he wasn't going to do a lot of commenting so he could focus on driving. But he's there. NWA says all the cool kids are here. Yeah, the coolest hangout on live streams with the Sister K and the PJ. We're doing well, he says, staying busy.
Are you moving this way, Palmetto?
Okay, so yes, they are not too bright. No, the water doesn't have to be warm, said Sophie Akers. There's Steve Wilson, one old man, and yeah, he's also a channel supporter, so he gets a shout out. Shalom, Stephen Wilson. Asymmetrical says, yes, militant farmers are what we all need to be. And
Amen.
And we kind of are. And he said, a warrior in the garden. Look, it's a gray-haired old lady out there working in her garden.
With an AR across her back.
Don't bother her. She's kind of grumpy. Just have to keep an eye on them, make sure they are moving, says Soapy Acres. Ken Worland said, if you're stuck in traffic, you should do a live stream. Well, we kind of do. Do you want to be in the picture now or no?
I don't care if I'm in the picture.
All right. Well, maybe I'll move it over. Do you want me to move it over so you can see the guy with the beard too? Wow, catching you live, says Leanne49. Shalom. We are working on it. Haven't gotten a clear response on our offer yet. Well, at least you're giving it a college try. Grace Saker says, I'm doing the things, putting up pantry basics. Let's see. I'm waiting for y'all to answer. Do you want to see the old fella, or does it not really matter?
I don't think they care.
They don't care?
Not much to look at.
Big hair don't care? Give it a second. We might have been in a black hole.
I doubt it. Look at that phone. You should be able to see how many bars.
5 bars.
Yeah. This is pretty built up.
All right, Grace Acres says, question, family. I can't keep up with egg orders. Should I invest in more hens and a bigger coop, or is it just a fad? I think you're probably going to be okay to do it at least.
You should just
make
sure that you're actually making money on your eggs, though, when you add in the cost of feed and lighting and everything, all the costs associated with selling your eggs. Are you in fact making money? What does it say? Anyway, we don't worry about it. No, if it doesn't have a name, we don't know it. Just leave it alone.
Leave it low? Okay, I'm leaving it low. All right, you guys said yes, want to see the old guy, so he'll be in the picture now too.
Your arms because I can't see.
Okay, there we go. Ignore the sound in the background. Okay.
Fun fact, I don't answer my phone if I don't know who's calling.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. Grace Acres, I think it would be okay for you to get a few more hands on, especially since it's going to be summer and you're having demand. So
especially since there's going to be no food available at any price this fall.
Well, and we just got a text from a friend in Oklahoma that said no one can sell or buy any birds right now because of avian flu. So you might want to take advantage if you can get a few more hens to go ahead and get them now. You can always butcher them or sell them if the demand goes down.
Yeah.
Hope that makes sense. Grace Sager says, nope, she's not making a profit at this time.
Then why would you want to increase not making a profit? In other words, you're increasing the amount of money you're losing. Why would you want to do that?
There is Lamb Keeper. She gets a shout out. I don't think I gave her a shout out yet.
You did. I remember.
Yeah? Okay. I don't answer even if I know who it is, says Soapy Acres.
I usually don't have my phone on me. I don't answer it either. I just tell people if it's important, send me a text. And if I don't answer and you want to do it that way, leave a message. But yeah.
Okay, so Arkansas Living said, I just got a dozen more chicks a couple of days ago. And Westhold Ford, shout out, channel supporter, said, you guys are just driving all the time.
No kidding, man. I am ready to be on the mountain.
Yeah, we've had a very busy time. We've skirted a tornado.
Did indeed.
Been to 2 weddings, eaten a couple of sheeps, did a feast for the father, have driven many, many miles, watched some grandkids, and today, the news for today, the reason the title of the live stream, Your Health, is because my health is awesome. I just got a checkup, which is a pretty regular checkup for me. And the nurse told us all my blood work is normal. She said really quite amazingly normal. And that's good news for us. My blood pressure is 121/73. So for all y'all who have your blood pressure taken regularly, that is perfect. It's even a little bit better than perfect. So we're excited. We are very excited. Let's see. No matter what business you are in, if you're not making a profit, the answer is to cut costs, not increase them.
Or raise prices.
or raise your prices. That's an option.
Whatever the market will bear.
Whatever people were willing to pay. The Grinch said, oh, thank you. Northwest Arkansas Prepper, he supported the channel. Thank you so much, brother. You did not have to do that, but I appreciate it. The Grinch, get a rooster and an incubator. That way you don't have to buy the other hens, just raise your own hens, and it doesn't cost hardly anything to do it. And there's Big Mikey. Shalom all. If you guys are on Instagram, Big Mikey's Instagram, he has live streaming of a bird feeder outside his window, and that's kind of fun.
Really?
Yeah, he shows, the male cardinals.
Yeah,
and
that's a cool idea.
Yeah, the red-headed woodpeckers and whatever blue jays that come to his feeder, so that's kind of fun. Asymmetrical Preparedness says, my only holdup for getting chickens is what to do if we have to travel for a couple of days or so. Well, we can answer that.
They can be self-sufficient for a few days. You just get a waterer and a feeder.
Yeah.
And they're cheap. Both of them are cheap. Like
Right.
$10.
What we do, just make sure you build your coop with a run off of it, and the run be something covered and pretty secure. You can leave the door to your coop open so they can go out into the run, and they'll go back in the coop and sleep at night. And that way predators can't get at them while you're not there. And just leave enough food and water for the time that you are going to be gone, and they should be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Smiling Mary, thank you very much too. And Grace Acres has been a member for 2 months. Grace Acres, you get your little logo or meme or whatever, your name changes the longer you've been a channel supporter. So you got a different little picture on yours now. The Grinch says, I have enough chicken feed and watering system to sustain his for 2 weeks at a time, right? And you can buy, like dog food things that'll let the feed come down, and you can, it's doable. That's one of the good things about chickens is they aren't super difficult to take care of. I hurt my back, old horseback riding injury. If you could pray, I'll get back to you soon. I would really appreciate it. So Sophie Acres certainly will pray for you, sister. And there's a product that I've discovered recently called Bigel Oil. It's Bigel or Bigel oil. That's horse liniment. It's available in our area in farm stores. And because it's for a horse, it's pretty strong. And I use it for my aches too. And it works pretty well. Sometimes giving eggs away to your neighbors is more profitable in the long run, says Matt Deesh.
Yep.
All right. I didn't even know I could join the channel, says Northwest Arkansas Prepper. And yes, I did have to. That's what friends do. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that, brother. Colleen Rodemer, I'm with you, Sister Kate. My blood work came back, all green light, no meds. Doc is shocked. People over 65 take meds. Well, not me. And I wanted to address it, and I think I will just as soon as I finish going through these comments, your comment, because I think it's important. How long do you think they would be okay like that? Asymmetrical preparedness? Well, it was already answered. You can do it for 2 weeks. Guinea Hill Homestead said, just joining in today. Hope you're both doing good. Thank you so much, Guinea Hill Homestead. I will talk about that in a minute. A lot of Baltimore Orioles at Big Mikey's feeder. And thanks for the info. It really helps motivate me to get chickens. Chickens are so easy. And if you have a roux and a few broody hens, very easy to multiply. And that is true. What are they called? They're called silkies, but they're the small. Oh, they've got a special name. And
They're called silkies.
Yeah, but it's not guineas. They're under another name. They're not under regular laying hens. And silky hens are excellent broody hens. We've had some that were some sort of cross. It was a black bird, but it was like a Rhode Island red with something else. Bantam, that's it. I knew one of y'all would know. Bantams, yes.
That just means little, though.
Yeah, they're different breeds of smaller chickens, but they tend to be good layers. For whatever reason, they still have that instinct in them, where some of your bigger, older egg-laying breeds don't. They
You mean
just
setters, not layers.
setters,
They all lay.
right? But they don't all hatch chicks out, which is another reason to also have an incubator. And you need the rooster because he will fertilize their eggs. Otherwise, the hens lay eggs and they never develop into a
You
chick.
can buy an incubator pretty inexpensively, like a styrofoam one. They don't cost much.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes Orpingtons are good, broody. Mine haven't been broody yet.
You have an Orpington?
Yeah, we have 5.
Buff Orpingtons?
Yeah, we have 5.
I remember when you had that Buff Orpington rooster. That was a huge bird.
Yeah, well, some of the hens were big too, but these ones are not as big as I thought they'd be.
They're inferior grade Orpingtons.
Yeah, asymmetrical preparedness says, yes, we just need to bite the bullet and get to building the stuff for them. Yeah, I mean, that definitely helps. And to make you feel better, I've kept chickens in a dog kennel, like a travel kennel before. I've kept them in a dog kennel that was a chain link fence and put a roof over it and put some little,
Sticks from through the corners.
sticks through the corners for them to roost on. It does not have to be the Ramada hen inn for the birds to be able to live in it, but I know you do get work nights, so don't stress out about it. You can make the coop out of recycled pallets if you have to.
Remember what Nick Fouch said. Temporary is
It's
permanent.
permanent.
He
So
was right.
you want it to be as secure as you can have it, so the coop area should be able to be shut and locked and nothing be able to get in. It's very helpful for you to have a human door if you want to walk in there, and a way to be able to scoop bedding out of it and change bedding in there. So yeah, anyway. Tractor Supply has incubators pretty affordable. What's the best chicken for laying eggs? And chickens are not trying to brood. Why? Phoebe Wyatt said. It's just in their genetics. It's just the bloodlines and things. Some of them are really good and some of them aren't. I like Australorps for laying. They're a really good laying hen. I think they lay almost every day. I really have not had an Australorp get broody though and hatch chicks out. Let's see. My olive egger and white Brahma hens are broody, says Grace Akers. Barred Rock tend to lay even in winter. They do. Grace Akers says, my girls are 2 years old, so I'd have a way to rotate my flock. You would if you had an incubator. And some people do just get the chicks, raise them up. They lay their first year. That's the most eggs they ever lay is in their first year. And then they butcher that set and get a new set of chicks, and that way they always have.
And you can, the first set, let's say you get Barred Rock, and then the next set you get Rhode Island Reds, and then the next set you get, and that way you can tell the years apart by your chickens pretty easily.
NWA Prepper says, hate to run, but I'm going to start getting ready for training meeting tonight. Safe travels.
Thank you.
Too, brother. Forest Preparedness says, PJ, I believe you're spot on with there won't be much food in the fall comment. My brother is a food distributor manager for a large franchise in Missouri. Q3 and Q4 bad news and alarming outlooks. Okay, so I'm going to get on to the health thing and then we'll come back. So I purposefully, my whole adult life, have tried to eat healthy. I don't drink very much at all, only in times of major stress, good or bad, and only a little bit. Pastor likes to tell a story. It's like me having a thimble full of alcohol and what a big deal I make out of it. But it's true. And alcohol's never really agreed with me anyway. It makes me very sleepy at times when I don't always want to be sleepy. Like if I'm at a party celebrating and I have something to drink, I fall asleep and I miss the whole party. So I didn't do that, and I never was a big smoker. Like when I was in college, I did try smoking cigarettes. I never inhaled them. I did the thing where you just draw the smoke into your mouth and then blow it back out, because I did not want that stuff in my lungs. And so that's never been it. I've always been active. I love the outdoors. I love being outside. I've done some sports. We jogged. I ran a marathon when I was 35. And then lately, I do things outside, but I do things slower. Obviously, I'm not jogging anymore. I can walk decent lengths of time and decent distances. I'm not really measuring them, but when I walk to the orchard every day, it's roughly 400 yards, right? Give or take. And I'm doing that sometimes 4 times in a day. So that's 3,200 yards. And we were at a deal, well, I can't remember. Oh, one of the weddings. One of the weddings was at an animal park. And so we had entrance to the park all day long. And I didn't particularly feel like going there before the ceremony, but my son was there with our grandchildren and he wanted to go. He wanted to show the kids around and get them tired out, get them down for a nap, so when they had to go to the ceremony, they wouldn't be all wiggly. And it was a really nice park. And so we went.
Littles with the wiggles.
Yeah, littles with the wiggles. You know how they are. So we went in the morning for about 2 to 3 hours walking around this park. And when we got finished, yes, I was a little bit tired. We came back to the hotel. I had lunch and then laid down for a while, got my feet up, then went back for the wedding, which went from 4 to 8 or 9. Only about half an hour of it was sitting down at the beginning, then there was some more walking around, and then there was more sitting down at the end to eat the dinner. So I was on my feet on and off, 8 to 9 hours that day. And so that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. And like I said, I just had my blood pressure taken. It was awesome. All my blood numbers. And when you get your blood tested for stuff, normally they're looking at like your liver and your kidneys and the oxygen content. She said my blood sugar looked good. And so it's not a surprise to me. It is something I had consciously started doing as a young adult and have continued on all my adult life. Am I chunky? Yes, I'm a little chunky. I'm heavier than I should be for my height and weight, but I am not grossly overweight. I think I'm on the higher end of normal. And that's been a plan the whole time. There are some things that run in my family. Alcoholism is one of them. I consciously chose not to do it. There can be addictive kind of stuff in our family. I've tried to avoid things that are addictive. Even if I have something like sugar that I like, I'm cutting down on the amounts all the time, smaller amounts. And we've recently started eating a whole lot of salad and drinks that have stevia as the sweetener because it's a natural sweetener. And also it's a whole lot less calories per drink. Like right now, I'm drinking a cold pressed fruit drink that the ingredients are just organic fruit juices. Now it's got a lot of sweet stuff in it because of the fruits they're using. So this is not a low calorie drink per se, but it doesn't have added, corn syrup in it. Yeah. And also the amount of food we Americans eat is just outrageous. Like what we think is normal for a plate of, say, spaghetti is this heaping mound of noodles and sauce, and that's just extra calories. You don't need to do that if you want to feel really full.
But it tastes so good.
It does taste so good. If you want to eat a big plate like that, then don't have a lunch. Because weight and stuff like that is a numbers game. For, I think, a man, it's 2,500 calories a day, and for a woman, it's 1,500. Just have 1,500 calories, but don't have 3 meals that all of them are 1,500 calories.
Yeah, that's probably a bit much.
Right? You're at 4,500. So have, some fruit in the morning, have a salad at lunch, and then you can have your plate full of pasta. It's actually pretty easy.
Where does the
brownie,
not quite half gallon of ice cream go?
Right, the half gallon of ice cream.
Well, it's not a half gallon anymore, therefore it's a single serving. And that's almost 2,000 calories. Where's that fit in?
Right.
How do we eat that with our pasta?
Right.
And our breakfast. And our second breakfast.
I want to get to the comments. Oh man, you just made a really good point. It slipped out of my head. Second breakfast. Oh, the half gallon of ice cream. You can still have a half gallon of ice cream. Sure you can.
Also,
you just can't have it all in one sitting.
No, but it tastes good.
When we have ice cream now, I buy smaller portions so some of us can't eat it all and it add up to a gallon.
You really just need to stop buying ice cream.
If
we don't have it, we can't eat it.
I still want to have some, but I get a little container and then I eat a quarter of it at a time, at a sitting. And so
Unless I find it, and then I eat the 3/4 that's left over.
Lasts
like it's left over.
4 days, unless somehow something happens to the cup full. But that's how you can still have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it's not overwhelming. So I've got lots of you saying, sugar is my habit. Sugar is my weakness. It's mine too. And that's when I decided, like my doctor, like 3 visits ago, just pointed at me and said, no more soda. Your blood sugar's getting kind of high. And I took her seriously. I said, all right, no more soda. Started looking at alternative drinks, and luckily America finally is getting some alternative drinks. Like someone here said, a monk fruit. Guinea Hill Homestead said, I'm gonna have to back up. Oregon Berry said, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Oregon Berry, and a shout out to you. My soul wants to be up, but my broken body can't. Muscular dystrophy sucks. It does suck. I agree. Hopefully you can have some kind of physical therapy. Maybe someone come in and help move your limbs for you. Ace Medical Preparedness says, you guys really motivate me. Thank you for being who you are and what you do. Glad to be of service there. I'm sure you motivate other people. Queen of Kiss Cosmetics says, howdy guys. I'm just mini homesteading. You guys are doing the real thing. It's been 10 years. We are 10 years off grid now, y'all. 10. That's a long time.
That is a long time.
The Guinea Hill Homestead said, I'm currently battling a serious tick illness. 4 bites in the past 2 weeks have turned my world upside down. Seeing a great specialist next week. Praying for healing. Amen. Praying for healing for you too, Guinea Hill Homestead. Monk fruit is a real good sugar substitute. It says national match. A low hypoglycemic index.
That's a cool name.
Yeah.
Full screen name, National Match.
National Match it is. Sugar has always been the biggest problem in my diet, says Palmetto. I've been getting a lot better about it over the years, but my entire extended family is like that.
Palmetto has nothing to worry about. Brother, you can eat as much as you want.
You can still always cut down on your sugar, though, and you can find alternatives. Smiling Mary says, gave up sugar 26 years ago, so glad I did. I drink at least 96 ounces of water a day or more, says Colleen Rodimer.
Yep.
Westhold Forge.
This is water. There's flavoring beans in it.
Grace Acre says, sugar is my vice. Yes. Westhold Forge says, I'm a big fan of stevia, so much though that we tried to grow it. Unfortunately, it didn't survive. I tried to grow it too, and it was very sweet. And it is just a regular looking plant.
Yeah, I didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of weird.
And the drinks that are stevia sweetened in our area are Bing, not Bang, Bing.
Bada bing, bada boom.
And it also has things like guarine and vitamin C and so on, and it's low cal. And another one called Suja, Suja. which is very similar to this, the fruit juices and the like kale and everything. And it's stevia sweetened also. They're not cheap. It's not cheap, but it tastes pretty good. And the results for me were fantastic. Okay. Sugar is my problem too, says Sophie Akers, and you make really good looking sugary foods. You've got to just stop. You have to start trying healthy snacks and still be artistic.
Salad. We got to the point with salad. First, we were kind of forcing ourselves to eat it. Now we're kind of like, if we don't have a salad, we feel like
we're
it's a bad day. Yeah,
we're jonesing for a salad. So Sophie Akers, start making cute carrot things and snacky melon things and all that. Good for you.
You should tell people or do another video with how you make salads, because I've never had salads like yours. They're delicious.
Been drinking more water and kombucha, says Sophie Akers. The salads that we have, I buy at the store.
No, you do all kinds of extra stuff too.
Dole pre-mixed. They're mostly cabbage, not as much lettuce, which I like. Makes them crunchier and fresh. But also throw in some dried fruit and some dried nuts. And I usually put in shredded cheese
and meat. Cut
cucumbers, some kind of meat. You know, a salad doesn't have to just be plain lettuce. You can dress it way up. Asymmetrical preparedness says diet soda is my vice.
Yeah, I quit that. That's bad for you too if you do the reading on it.
Yeah.
I used to drink a whole lot of Diet Coke. I don't drink it anymore.
Yeah, try out the Bing. If you can get Bing in your area, try it out. It's got a heck of a lot of flavor. It's very intense.
I recommend you drink the Warrior beverage.
And water. And I will mix mine with water. I'll do it half and half because it's a really intense flavor. All right. Dragon Shield 1776 says, we Americans are bad about stacking starches on starches. Rice, bread, potato, wheat, grain, bad for weight. Yes, apparently starches aren't as bad for you if you have it without anything else. If you just eat something like a baked potato and not a steak and a this and a that with it, it's actually better for your body to digest.
That? You need to put sour cream and a lot of butter and chives.
Ledwin Mayer says, I intermittent fast, but still hoppity around the middle. Healthy though. Intermittent fasting works. Intermittent fasting is actually decent to do. Like, it's not super hard.
Ultra marathoning.
Not everybody can ultra marathon, Pastor, but it's true. I mean, being active helps, and it doesn't always have to be an ultra marathon. It can just be walking. It can be swimming. It can be disc golfing. That was another one of those things that we ran into.
She's going to join the master's class of
disc
a disc golfing tournament because there's like no women master's class, so she'll probably get first, second, or third.
We'll see.
Start medaling your first time out.
We did run into disc golfers on our travels, and there were older people doing disc golf because it's not as hard on the joints. It takes about half a day, and you walk 2 to 4 miles while you're doing it. That's good enough activity for people our age, right? Just do something, ride a bike, croquet. I love the idea of croquet. Just be active. All right. Sugar travels through the brain the same way cocaine does.
Riding that train, high on M&Ms.
Kentucky Prepper says, 1792 says, hello all, health is wealth. Health is wealth. It's true, and it's also your state of mind. You feel better when you know your health is fine.
I'll drink to that.
That's why sugar makes more money than street drugs. It's just as addictive. Well, and your body actually your brain needs some sugar. It needs some salt. So it's not unnatural for your body to like sweet things. It's just a matter of what sweet things you give it. Years ago, remember you had brain surgery. Could you go over that in a grid down scenario, please?
In a grid down scenario?
In a grid down
scenario.
Die. I don't think my brain tumor was the kind of thing like cancer that was going to keep getting worse. It was a hemangioma, which is a blood clot thing, like blood vessels forming together. So more than likely, just given what I know, and I'm not a doctor, what probably would have contained it or helped me deal with it would have been something like blackberry root tea, which is a astringent that shrinks swelling. But the worst part about it was I was having really bad vertigo. I could not stand up without throwing up. So in a grid down, I probably would have had to just lay in bed, which is never good because your body is designed to be moving. And so if I just had to lay in bed and couldn't stand up, right, pneumonia or blood clotting issues.
And if we're talking grid down situation, there's a lot of work to be done.
Right, bed sores. Of course, I would have tried to done what I could from bed. And we probably would have just resorted to the laying on of hands and the oil and the elders praying for me because there would be no way to diagnose what was actually wrong. We thought
deal with it.
Yeah, we thought I had some sort of stomach flu. So
I thought you had an earache.
Or an ear infection. Right. We also considered that I might have had an ear infection and might have tried to
That's probably what we would have tried to treat. Like
right, some kind
hot
of
garlic oil or something.
in the ear, or maybe some antibiotics. But yeah, so grid down is not good medically.
Hey, a lot of people are gonna die that don't die now. I mean, just steel your mind for it. It's gonna happen. I think that's part of what's behind it. I did not read the congressional study 1 second after that kind of thing when if an EMP hit the U.S., their study was something like 99% of people or something would be dead in a year.
Well, everyone in the hospital.
A lot of that, is one. All the really sick and injured people are
requiring electricity and things like insulin or a pacemaker or anything like that. Ooh, someone said, Gina Seal, I have been watching Pastor Joe 6 years now. Oh, hopefully it's benefited you, Gina.
Yeah, that's true.
Colleen says, walk 3 miles at least 3 times a week. Sister Carrie of Yahuwah says, walking is the thing. I walk, don't drive, and I'm healthy. Walking really is what your body was designed for, and so if you do it regularly, your body adjusts. Something health related that happened to me earlier, like maybe last year, maybe the year before, I twisted my ankle pretty badly. And at the time, the rest, ice, elevate, wrap thing was what was recommended. And so I did that, and it took a long time to heal. And then I recently twisted it again, kind of badly. And I called my daughter or texted her, and she said, no, Mom, that's not what you do now. You just get up and walk on it. And I thought,
rub some dirt in it.
That sounds pretty harsh, but that's what I did, and it recovered way better. And it's probably because rest, ice, elevate, whatever, was not a doctor who recommended that treatment.
Depression.
But everyone jumped on board that bandwagon, and by laying around doing nothing with your foot up in the air, you're not making your body respond like you would if you kept walking on it. I'm not saying you do that with a broken
foot up in the air and wave it like
you just don't care. I'm not saying you do that for a broken bone, but for an ankle sprain like mine, it worked. There's Merce Micah. Calories out need to be more than calories in.
Amen. Simple.
This is for weight loss. Merce Micah knows. He's a Merce. Cutting out high fructose corn syrup, excess sugar, and getting on an exercise regimen is essential.
What a smart young man that is.
He's a nice young man too. Right, lots of dead if we have grid down. Grace Acre said, yeah, laying on of hands, yeah, because the word says, do that first. Get healthy now and study herbs. That's what I'm saying. Get healthy now. I wanted to be healthy when I got to the age I'm going to be this year because I got a long view. I don't want to party and tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999. I don't want to be that person. I want to be making smart decisions and taking care of my health, so I'm not a burden to anybody else. But also, I like being outdoors, and when you're not able to, at least for me, it would be miserable. All right, so God bless you, Sister Kate. You overcame a serious health issue. I've overcome like 3 of them. Hallelujah. Thank you, Father, for modern medicine. Shalom from New Zealand says Seeking Soul. Shalom.
Are they from the North Island or the South Island?
North Island or South Island? I don't even know how long I've been watching PJ. At least 2 years before we met, which was 2014 2015. So you're going on about 10 years, Palmetto. Lippincott Pocket Drug Guide is an essential reference to have, says Merce Micah, and he would know. Eat vegetables and you will be okay, says Colleen Rodimer.
We eat a lot of veg.
Where do you recommend learning about medicinal herbs? So Lippincott Pocket Drug Guide, but also National Geographic magazine put out 3 different versions of herbs and flowers and things like that.
And yes, you got to learn the herbs that grow in your area, not just St. John's wort. If you don't have any, it doesn't really do you any good.
Texas Frontiersman says, sounds like you need an otoscope for your medical.
We have an otoscope.
We do?
Yeah.
Okay. Pastor Joe has put me in my place a few times. He said, stop watching YouTubes and do something. I agree. Yeah. He's right. Dragon Shield, Justin, for your FYI, everyone, Sister Kate is turning 25 this year. I'm looking pretty good, but I have a lot of gray in my hair for a 25-year-old. Far North says Seeking Soul in New Zealand. Far North Island.
No.
Lambkeeper says, I hope I got my mother's genes. She'll be 79 this year and still climbs up in small trees to prune them and push mows the yard. Well, doing stuff like that will help her get to 79, that's for sure. Kentucky Prepper 1792 says use discretion. If straining, don't re-injure the injury. A re-injury can even be nastier. It is very true. I put wood sorrel to rub the Passover lamb with every year, says Palmetto Paratrooper. Wood sorrel's pretty yummy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That
just showed somebody that. Remember that?
Yeah, we were showing them. Yeah. I watched a show for Mountain Video from 2016 last week. PJF said the grain harvest was so plentiful, the soils were overflowing. I feel that is about to change. 7 years of plenty and 7 of famine.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. They had these piles of wheat in parking lots.
Yep.
There was so much, all the grain elevators were full.
They were full, and we're talking huge piles of grain.
Oh, yeah, like 2 stories tall.
And Sustainable Steward just did a post on, I think it's YouTube. And she said, the amount of food is not the problem in America. We have enough. She said inflation is going to make it worse. Inflation is going to make the food that we have more expensive. That's bad. And then the World Bank guy said, and distribution is the other problem. Getting it to places where it needs to go affordably.
Which is another reason to come out of those cities.
All right. Norm Holland said, this will be the year of the garden.
Yep.
It sure will, just like victory gardens in World War II. There are a lot of people recommending you garden, putting out videos on how to garden, and all the stores that sell gardening supplies have plenty of supplies up because they want to make money. Seeds and tools. Look, I got a hat. I even did a hat. This was for the wedding. I didn't end up wearing it, but they wanted us to wear a fancy hat. I thought it might be like a joke, so I made my fancy garden hat. Yeah. And Norm lives in Scotland, so Norm's not...
Scotland forever!
He's not a propagandist for American gardeners. This is a worldwide thing. Homestead Australia is another international channel Lynn and Wayne have a wonderful garden. She does such amazing things over there.
It's wine.
Wine and self-sufficient meat. Also in Australia, does great videos on gardening. U.S. wastes food too. We do. I'm a food waster. I try not to be, but we don't always eat
We don't
everything
really
we
waste
buy.
our food because we end up giving it to the dogs or the chickens.
Right, and you know, we make our waste less because we have a compost pile, we have dogs, chickens, goats that we can feed stuff that we don't eat too. But yeah, there's a lot of waste in America. There's a lot of production in America. You're going to have a lot of
we
waste.
bring leftovers home and eat them. We have leftover Thai food in there.
We have leftover Thai food because we only ate half of it, and there's no way we're throwing that away. So it's coming with us. Yeah. My mom is 95 this year, says Colleen. Awesome. We waste like 40%, says Grace Akers. And something else Sustainable Steward does that I have a lot of respect for is she doesn't buy any feed for her animals. She produces it all.
And that's what we want to get to.
Right? That is pretty darn respectable. All my gardening tubs are filled with canning jars, says the land keeper. There is J.A. Dudley, another moderator.
Shalom,
and
brother.
And an awesome brother. He says yodel and shalom all.
Yodel.
Yodel. Norm says double garden this year. It is growing fast. All right. So, what was that thing you were saying at the very beginning? Oh, so here's a news update. We've done the health thing. Your health is important. Get out there and
Speaking of health,
and
how's health?
right. Get on your health stuff if you aren't on it. Reduce your amount of sugar. Look for alternatives. Reduce the amount of calories and move.
Increase the amount of push-ups.
Yeah. Get rabbits. Get chickens and rabbits for your garden. Compost everything. Fertilizer is supposedly going to be in a shortage. If you have rabbits, you don't have a problem with fertilizer for your garden.
No.
Because they produce a garden-friendly fertilizer. You do not have to compost. You can stick it right on the garden. And you can do it if you compost with chicken manure, horse manure,
You
cow
gotta
manure.
compost that.
Right, I said if you compost,
Yeah.
to compost. You can use goat manure. You can make your own, so don't panic. There's Whisker for Oscar Whiskey. Howdy. My waste list, if I plan out my week's meal ahead of time. And then something else that helps is portions, because I, used to cook for a family of 5, and it was bigger, much bigger portions. Now that it's just the 2 of us, I can make as much food as I think we're hungry for. If we're big hungry, then salad and something else. If we're not, we don't even really make a meal. We just nibble. And I try to have healthy nibblies.
Nibblies. Niblets.
Like nuts and fruit. We had some banana chips recently that were just yummy to munch on. I've got dried fruits like raisins, cranberries, blueberries. And we have things like seaweed
I got
snacks.
something coming over there.
We have tuna fish packets and chicken packets and things like that. So if we want to eat but we don't want to make a big meal, we can just nibble. Chickens are pretty self-sufficient as long as you are not in a desert. Although the more they have to forage, the less eggs and meat they will produce. My sweet little neighbor plants Bible pages in his garden. So far, he's had a great garden. He is 85 years old, so maybe he knows something we don't. Mikey says, worked at a large banquet facility when I was younger. They wasted food, thousands of pounds of it weekly. It was disgusting.
Did you get to bring it home? Any of it home?
Getting healthy is one of the most important types of prepping, said Judy. Yes. Don't eat processed food, anything that comes in a package and has a label. Eat what God made. Yes. I just went to take the trash out and realized I left my truck running for almost 5 hours. That's a problem.
Wow.
That was a costly mistake, but I think my battery is nice and charged now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably. So we wanted to switch to Putin because Pastor was saying before the live stream that Putin is going under.
He may be under now.
Under the knife.
For cancer.
For cancer. He has put his head of intelligence in
charge.
And that his head of intelligence knows all about the plans and the Ukraines and the things. So that may change that whole situation. Been trying to prioritize my water collection. IBC totes are getting more expensive. You can use other things besides IBC totes also. Did the range thing Sunday, waste of time, waste of ammo. All on spec. That was from Norm.
All on what?
Spec.
Yep. I would expect nothing less from Norm.
That's right, Norm. We expect
really
you to uphold standards. Judy said, Sister Kate, Pastor Joe, you are true blessing, so wise and helpful. We
Thanks.
try. We're trying to pass on our experience, make your life better. I try my best to dehydrate as much fruit as I can. That's a really good idea. Dehydrating food in general is a good idea.
So Norm, off to my left, I'm looking at what might as well be a drop zone.
We have driven
It's like a field a mile by a mile.
We've driven through many drop zone fields in our travels lately.
The other day.
There's still lots of
I said you
food.
could drop the whole 82nd Airborne Division on that one.
We could eat some if it hadn't been served, but it was the food that was served but not eaten. Beautiful fillets with one bite out of them.
Oh, I'd take that one home and
Give it to my puppy at the very
I'd
least.
eat it. I remember when I was starving in college.
We were starving in college for about a month. We ate nothing but potato sandwiches, and our friends did things like take us to salad bars and pay for us to have unlimited salad. We lost a lot of weight. Dusty says, I'm late. Springfield is flooding a little. Oh, that was another something I was going to address. We were that close to a tornado that got started on this trip, and we are heading into severe thunderstorms today and tomorrow with possibility of tornadoes. And West S was that close to the same tornado in his area. Didn't hurt his area. Next thing down the road got
We need to
hammered.
look into getting a tornado shelter on Shofar Mountain. We need to make that a priority.
Phoebe Wyatt says, well, okay. Palmetto says, I tried to talk my wife into getting a pilot's license. She asked why, and I said, someone has to land with the plane. I didn't know there was a plane. Phoebe Wyatt says, I have watched PJ 6 years ago, and thank God I did. I didn't know what to do, but I'm stocked pretty good. Goats, chickens, and a huge garden.
There you go.
Awesome.
There you go.
Smiling Mary says, I'm a lunch lady. Food waste is horrible at schools. And let's admit it, you're a lunch lady. The food being served in schools nowadays is pretty nasty. At least in our area. A whole lot of processed stuff. For a tornado shelter, put a bus slightly underground.
I'm putting it all the way underground.
Buses really aren't built to support
Oh, they
the
said
weight.
a bus?
Yeah,
Oh,
bus.
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, they're not built to support the weight.
Actually, buses evidently school buses are designed for rollovers. And so that's why they make pretty good things to carry with the proper reinforcement under them and so bite them.
Okay.
Unlike shipping containers, they can't. You cannot carry a shipping container.
Time to be productive, says Kentucky. Take care, all. Okay.
We're being productive. We're getting ever closer to Shofar Mountain.
We are doing that thing, and when we get there, we both agree it's probably going to be a jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of our stuff. Now, I've got to, when I get back, I've got to check wild raspberries because they were starting to flower just 6 days ago, and they could already be ripe.
Nah.
No,
No
they
way.
can. It depends on what the weather was. and to check our garden stuff, because we did have things planted and hopefully they survived while we were gone. And I need to get more warm weather plants planted. My cucumbers,
You're
my
okay. You're not
tomatoes,
late
my
yet.
peppers.
You're not late yet.
Well, I have a sister who had started some for me, which is nice. World War I government recommended at least 2 chickens a household.
Oh, heck yeah.
Great Depression government ordered herds slaughtered for fiscal reasons. World War II, freedom gardens, victory gardens. As of about, GOV is pushing more for go without.
I love those shows on, like, I don't know if it was PBS or what, but they like recreate the old victory gardens and stuff in the backyards, which they call gardens, don't they? Don't they in Britain call their
backyard,
a garden?
and they don't.
But they would intensively cultivate their backyards, and it was like that was. And there's some old videos too that show that. I like it.
Oh yeah,
Garden for victory, or something like that.
that's right. 2 chickens per household. Let me put it to you another way.
That's not enough.
Each bird is going to produce about 1 egg a day or 2, most varieties. So it depends.
One egg every day or 2.
Right, every day or 2. So it depends on how many family, how many chickens you should have.
And, me, I like to eat 3 eggs for breakfast. That's 3. I'm keeping 3 birds busy right there.
Right, so if you have a family of 5 and you want to have an omelet or scrambled eggs or something for them, you want to have a bird per person, maybe 2. We have, I think, around 20 birds, and they're giving them away. But you can also long-term store eggs. You can put them in the glass, or you can mineral oil, and they last a couple of months. You could also scramble them all up in a bag and put them in your freezer. I think the best thing to do is have a rooster and have chicks, or a way to make chicks so you can keep the whole operation going. All right, so I heard that the Midwest's high fire season will last till October-ish. Wonder if it's going to burn whatever produce that's in the ground. Well, the west part of our country always has fires.
And now's when they're burning off, now and a little bit before now. It's kind of the end of the burn off the field season.
Right. Barter and trade is a thing. Frying up some crappie that was traded for eggs. PBS back in the 70s and 80s had gardening stuff. Palmetto says, I've caught 32 crappie and bass this year. Smiling Mary says, nope, I do 90% scratch cooking. We have 210 students who are lucky and don't know it. Well, good for you, Smiling Mary.
Hey, how do you cook your crappie? I'm interested because I was just telling SK, I think I'm going to go get a fishing license and fish like once a week for supper.
And Dusty says, Westhold Forge says, I used to be cool. Now me and the wife lay in bed and watch gardening videos. You got to do it too. But we know you are.
We blacksmiths.
Dusty says, already finding ticks thicker than last year. Any advice to keep them off?
Deep woods off. That's what I use. Deep woods off.
I know a lot of people who use a blend of essential oils. I don't wear anything. I don't spray anything.
How many ticks did we pull off you yesterday?
And I get them on me, but we just check each other daily and get them back off. I always fry my fish in butter in a cast iron skillet.
Do you scale them or fillet them or what do you do?
Some countries nowadays require you to have gardens. I think that'd be smart. Some countries have the median strip of highways are gardened.
Korea was when I was there in the
Koreans
90s.
do that.
In the 90s, I don't know if they do it anymore. I mean, that's 30 years ago.
Jana says pan fry in a cast iron skillet. Palmetto says scaled and filleted, yes.
Okay.
JS Magic. Okay, so I'm going to sign off with that reconnecting thing. We're also going to lose service. So thank you all for live stream. We appreciate all y'all. Thank y'all who support the channel, and we will see you guys soon.